Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is a prophecy report entitled, Beginning to Come to Pass. The book of Revelation begins with these words, The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly take place. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bare record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ, and of all things that he saw. Revelation 1:1-2. The book of Revelation is the revelation of Jesus Christ, a list of things to show God's servants, a list of things that must happen, a list of things that must happen shortly in God's timing, a list of things that an angel showed to John. The book of Revelation is the Word of God. It is the testimony of Jesus Christ. Here are 5 major signs in Revelation chapter 13 that must come to pass during the tribulation period. 1. A global power must come into being. Revelation 13 verse 7 says, Power was given him, the Antichrist, over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. An unelected person must be given power over all the nations. This is the New World Order, the Great Reset, the coming world religion. 2. A global false religion must come into being. Revelation 13:8 says, And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Every lost person must worship the Antichrist. This appears to be where the unbiblical global ethic is going, the LGBTQ agenda, the woke culture, abortion, etc. The coming world religion, mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and the abominations of the earth. 3. There must be a global population reduction. Revelation 13 verse 15 says, And he, the false prophet, had power to give unto the image of the beast a statue of the Antichrist, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. This appears to be artificial intelligence, a computerized talking statue that will reduce the population of the earth by ordering the death of all that refuse to obey the government and worship an idol. 4. There must be a global marking system. Revelation 13 verse 16 says, And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. There must be a global mark that identifies the lost supporters of world government. This is probably where face scans and hand scans are going. The desire for a mark to identify everyone appears to be a step in that direction. 5. There must be a global economic system. Revelation 13:17 says, And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All must take the mark, or they cannot buy and sell. Everyone must be required to support the government if they want to buy and sell. Replacing cash with a digital currency is the ultimate goal. In Daniel chapter 4, we read that God caused King Nebuchadnezzar to lose his mind. His hair grew like feathers. His nails grew like claws. He crawled around in a pasture like an animal on all fours. He grazed grass like an animal. His body stayed wet from the dew. This lasted for 7 years. Why? So the living may know that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and gives to whomever he wills and sets up over it the basest of men. Daniel 4 verse 17. So the living will know that God is in control, God raises up leaders, God brings down leaders, God puts the leader he wants in charge, and God even puts bad leaders in charge. In response to a question about his second coming and the end of the age, Jesus said, When these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. As the end of the age nears, there will be a generation that can see the signs beginning to come to pass. our generation is seeing the 5 major signs in Revelation 13 beginning to come to pass. It is not a coincidence that these 5 major signs are shaping up. It is the revelation of Jesus Christ beginning to come to pass. Here are more events that seem to indicate that the tribulation period events are beginning to show up. Concerning a normalization agreement between Saudi Arabia and Israel, on May 17th, it was reported that 2 U.S. officials said the Biden administration is pushing for a Saudi-Israeli peace deal in the next 6 to 7 months. A Saudi-Israeli peace deal would lead to normalization agreements with other Arab nations. A Saudi-Israeli peace deal will include a Palestinian component that Israel will have to agree to. It is unclear how far Israel will go to secure a peace agreement in the Middle East. On May 22nd, it was reported that Israeli Prime Minister and Saudi Crown Prince have talked to each other on the phone about normalization, but there was no progress. On May 23rd, it was reported that the MBS is demanding that the U.S. enter into a military alliance with Saudi Arabia. The U.S. agrees to a Saudi civilian nuclear program, and that a peace agreement includes the 2-state solution between Israel and the PA before he normalizes relations with Israel. At some point, there will be a breakthrough, a covenant that will be drafted that divides the Promised Land. The covenant will be for 7 years of peace. It will be confirmed by a global leader who is the Antichrist, and his confirmation will mark the beginning of the tribulation period. The fact that the U.S. is pushing for a peace treaty and the 2 leaders are talking to each other about it could ultimately lead to a breakthrough that God will not accept. Concerning the Battle of Gog and Magog, on May 22nd, it was reported satellite pictures and videos show that Iran is building a new underground nuclear site that will be too deep for typical U.S. or Israeli bunker buster bombs to destroy. Considering that Iran is continuing its quest to build nuclear weapons, this increases the need for an attack on Iran. On May 23rd, Amir Sarfati reported that Israel appears to be preparing for a preemptive strike against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Hezbollah is an Iranian puppet. Concerning a falling away from the faith at the end of the age, on May 17th, it was reported that more than 3,200 congregations have disaffiliated with the United Methodist Church since 2019 over the denomination's acceptance of same-sex marriage and ordination of non-celibate LGBTQ clergy. Thousands of members have chosen to leave the denomination because others have chosen to ignore the Bible on these issues. On May 10th, it was announced that the European Union's main executive body has given the government of the Netherlands permission to force half of the farmers in Holland to sell their land to the government because the government wants to take their land out of production and seize their cattle to reduce air population. On May 17th, Biden's climate czar, John Kerry, addressed the U.S. Department of Agriculture for Climate Summit. According to Kerry, one of the most well-known, disrespected, unpatriotic politicians in America, agriculture production is responsible for 1/3 of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. A reduction in emissions must be put in front and center in America's quest to defeat global warming. As I see it, a deliberate 1/3 reduction in food production will cause food shortages, soaring prices, famine, multitudes of death. I believe we can already see some of these things begin to happen. Finally, are you rapture ready?